Awesome.
I'm gonna keep the headphones up.
Motherfucker, I'm awesome. No, you're not, dude. Don't lie. I'm awesome. I'm driving around in my mom's ride. I'm awesome. A quarter of my life gone by, and I met all my friends online. Motherfucker, I'm awesome. I will run away from a brawl. I'm awesome.
Hello, everybody. It's President Obama. I mean, Jake Weimer, as in the president of BanziProductionz. Say your names!
And I'm Tyler.
And I'm Colin.
This is our first ever podcast, and I'm talking about Death Note. So is Colin, because he couldn't really think of a topic, and Tyler's talking about Fallout.
Yeah, this was kind of like a last minute decision on making a podcast, so we couldn't really come up. But as like the episodes keep going, we will come up with more, and I will too.
We don't really know how long this podcast is going to be, so
probably like from 30 minutes to an hour. So I hope you
guys enjoy. Most likely 30 minutes.
All right, Jake. So you are talking about Death Note. What?
Death Note. Before I talk about it, I'd recommend this to anybody who hasn't watched it yet.
Agreed.
It's a great anime. It's my favorite anime other than Naruto and Attack on Titan, which recently came out.
That's agreeable.
And honestly, like, I was never into anime. Like, I kind of thought anime was kind of dumb until, Jake introduced me to it, and then I started to really, get into anime and different types of anime. So if you're kind of a noob at anime like I was, you can just start watching that, and then you'll get more into it.
And if you watch Death Note, it's actually not that hard to understand.
Even if you skip episodes, you can still kind of catch up to it.
But just watch all the episodes anyway. Don't skip.
And honestly,
just in case you don't know about it.
And honestly, it does get addicting. Like when I first started watching it, I could not stop. Like I was probably up until 4 in the morning, watching nothing but Death Note, all day. So, Tyler, what's your when it comes to anime, what would you recommend besides Death Note?
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
What about Attack on
Titan?
Yeah, now
that's actually kind of super easy to understand, at least for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, Jake's right. If you guys want to get into any type of anime, Death Note is where you should begin. Should we tell them a little bit about it, or?
Well, first I'm going to talk about Death Note. Maybe I'll talk about Attack on Titan along the road. I don't know. Well, I'm going to start with Death Note. You see, here's the plot with Death Note. This, really smart high school student, his name's Light Yagami. He's basically in a classroom, but he's looking out a window. He sees a notebook falling from the sky. As soon as he's done with class, he just walks out. He picks it up, he reads it, and it turns out to be a Death Note. Which turns out to be a notebook. If you write a person's name in it, and if you remember his or her face, that person will die. If you don't write the cause of death, the person will just die of a heart attack in 40 seconds. Later on in the show, I think it's still the first episode, I forget, that there's a Shinigami, which I'm pretty sure means death god or something.
And it seems like Ryuk, right?
Yeah, Ryuk. He's actually cool looking.
Yeah,
anyway. He basically appears, and he's now Light's Shinigami. I'm sorry if I had bad English. I can't speak too good. Please don't hate.
Speaking of Ryuk, that reminds me of the live-action movie. Ryuk looked awesome in it because he was animated.
I didn't really watch the live action.
Yeah.
Anyway. What was I going to say?
You were talking about Ryuk?
Yeah, and he's basically explaining the rules of the whole Death Note thing. Like, if the person who owns the Death Note uses it, the person can't go to heaven or hell. But yet Light don't even believe in that. I think he doesn't. Because, like, Ryuk tells him that nobody goes to heaven or hell. Death, no matter what you do, whether it's good or bad, death is equal. You go to the same place. And, eventually Light decides that he wants to use the Death Note to get rid of the world's criminals and become the god of the new world.
And tell him about the Shimigami eyes.
Oh yeah, that's mentioned further down the road. But first I'm going to start with that one. But first I'm going to start with something else. Like, there were murder reports, like what was that special? What was, like, that task force called? Did they have, like, a specific name? I'm just gonna call them task force.
Yeah, I think they just.
Which, like, the commissioner or leader, I don't really know what they call him. Which is actually Light Yagami's father's. Fuck, I can't even say his name.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Police.
Sorry, Chiro Yagami. Like, names like that I can't pronounce. Unless maybe if I'm looking at it, but I'm not looking at it. He basically wants to investigate the whole, like, murders. And there was a theory that it was that they called the person. Fuck, I can't speak today. This is last minute, so.
Yeah. Sorry guys. We'll be more prepared on our next episodes.
Like, basically. Well, actually, I forgot to mention, if you haven't watched this, these are spoilers.
Yeah, so...
so if you're, like, going to be all paranoid about spoilers, just stop watching.
We'll put that in the description below.
Just stop watching.
Before it starts,
But, you know, some people don't even look at the description.
Yeah.
So I might as well just tell everybody.
Anyway. Well, we should really go ahead more. Do you think we should let Tyler take over?
Yeah, I think if you do any more, I think it would spoil it all.
Don't spoil the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna spoil the beginning.
Okay.
And, like...
Can I tell him about the hostages? Like, his first victim? Do you remember that?
What do you mean?
When the guy walked, I think it was like a school or something, and he took several kids hostages. Sorry if I'm not speaking clearly.
Oh wait,
and he at first he didn't really believe about the Death Note. He thought he thought it was complete,
I remember now.
Yeah, he thought it was complete bullshit, and so he wrote down the guy's name who was taken,
just to test it out.
Yeah, to test it out, and then the thing was kind of off task, like how long it took for him to die, but then out of nowhere he just dies, and he's just like in shock that it actually works, and then he just goes crazy with writing names down.
Which is all of them are criminals.
Yeah.
But now, actually, I'm starting to think that now, the whole Death Note thing, I think came out in like somewhere around 2008. I forget what year it came out, but I think it ended in 2010.
Yeah.
It only had like 37 episodes. It didn't really last long.
But usually that's how most animes go.
Actually, not really.
Well,
Naruto already has like over 300 episodes.
And Bleach is still going on.
Yeah.
And that's like.
I think it's almost ending.
I know we can talk about with them.
Actually, Bleach recently ended, I think.
Oh really?
I think so.
I know they have.
That's right.
They have like over 300 something episodes, right?
A lot. Yeah.
Well, actually, I think I got a topic what everybody would enjoy. The new Walking Dead season.
Well, let me finish my Death Note conversation.
Fine.
You rude son of a bitch. Anyway. Fuck, what was I gonna say? You see what you do? Friggin' frig.
Okay, well, I guess...
Anyway. Then, like, turns out that this, like, really the best detective in the world, who goes by the name of L, he basically gets involved with the case of Kira. And, but yet, there was a guy on the news who was calling out Kira, who was assumed to be L, but really wasn't. His name was, there was a name tag in front of him. well, not like a name tag, not name tag, but like one of those things like you put on the desk
Yeah.
that have your name on it, and it turns like Light wrote his name down. Turns out that wasn't the real L. The real L was calling out Kira after that. He's like, "Go on, write my name down." Then they were both saying at the same time, "I am Justice." I kind of L is actually my favorite character, but I kind of think that Kira was doing justice.
Alright.
But in the end, I have to admit, he kind of went insane.
Alright.
But anyway, before Colin interrupts me again.
Well, was that spoiled the whole thing for them?
Before he interrupts, that's all I'm going to talk about
Yeah.
Death Note. I don't want to spoil all of it.
Yeah.
So just watch it if you haven't watched it already. So yeah, I'm done. Colin, now you can take take the floor.
They don't want to. You don't want to spoil the whole thing for them.
Then go on, talk, enlighten us. You son of a bitch.
All right. So as many.
No.
Shut up.
I'm kidding.
The new Walking Dead season 5 is coming out.
The trailer was awesome.
This October. And
Can't wait that long.
Also, alright. I think we should kind of. What do you guys think is going to happen this season? You know? Because
Daryl's not gonna die. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, if they kill off Daryl, I am not watching Walking
So
Dead
you
anymore.
can. I'm starting to think about this. Here's what I'm thinking. So you'll die. So you'll stop watching the show if a character dies. Please tell me more on how you're the biggest Walking Dead fan. That's kind of a fact.
But anyway,
Even if Daryl does die, which I doubt he does, and even if he does, it will probably be like towards the end of the show almost.
It's gonna be.
I'd still watch it.
honestly though, I think. I mean, we all love that show. We do. And we probably wouldn't know what to do if that show ended. But honestly, if they keep going, eventually people will get tired of watching it. I mean, look at Breaking Bad, for example. I mean, that in my opinion, that it was the best show AMC has done. And honestly, if I had to choose between The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad to be back on, it'd be Breaking Bad most definitely. You know.
Breaking Bad won an award over Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Breaking Bad actually has won like a lot of Emmys over the years, you know, because they just got talented actors and actresses, you know, like Jesse. I mean, like as many of you know, I don't know if you guys seen it, but after that he did Lone Survivor, which is about a group of Navy SEALs.
Aaron Paul?
Yeah, he did it. He
was in it, or
yeah, he was one of the SEALs. It's about these Navy SEALs who went to do a mission in Afghanistan. They were supposed to take out this leader because Taliban leader because he was killing a whole bunch of United States Marines. So they had to stop him, and they get ambushed pretty much by like hundreds of Talibans. And you know, it has Mark Wahlberg in it. You know, so it's a pretty good movie. You should go see it. But that was probably one of his biggest role movies. He kind of killed himself when he did Need for Speed. You know, because I mean, a movie like that, the acting sucks, but they're mostly cars what are good to look at. You know what I mean?
Need for Speed should just stick with the games.
Exactly. Like, honestly,
the games are better, especially Need for Speed Pro Street. That was actually really cool.
Honestly, I was considering seeing it only because of Aaron Paul in it. You know, maybe he could have made that movie better, but at the same time, the writers in that movie suck. You know what I mean? So
that was like Godzilla. Everyone saw what's his act?
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's in Godzilla.
Yeah, like Bryan.
Imagine if he cooks meth in that too.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston, greatest actor. Well, I mean, not greatest, but he's like one of the greatest actors to ever live. He could do drama.
He was
and
awesome
comedy.
as Heisenberg or Walter White, whatever you want.
But like he also was like in Malcolm in the Middle.
As the father.
Yeah, and like honestly, when my brother actually told me about Breaking Bad, and I didn't really take it seriously, you know, because he's always these goofy characters and stuff like that. So I was kind of like skeptical about it, and I was just like, you know, like I think this is gonna be like stupid. And when I saw the first episode, I was like, holy shit, this is the best show ever, you know. And I just kept watching it.
Oh yeah.
And I got Tyler into it too.
Freaking, it was the best
Yeah.
show I've ever seen.
Honestly, like, it's kind of too late now because I'm sure all of you out there probably know what his fate was at the end, because you know it was all over media. It was all over, like, you know, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media website there is. It was probably all over there, so you guys probably got spoiled. But honestly, you should at least watch the end and the beginning of it. Like, follow him throughout his meth dealing career, I guess. Is there anything you want to talk about, Tyler?
About shows or Fallout?
Anything.
Any video games you want to talk about?
Fallout, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, guys, I don't know much about Fallout because I don't really play that, but
It's really good.
Jake and
I
Tyler.
didn't want to play it at first, but Tyler, of course, got me addicted to it.
But with you, it's always like you have to get yourself into it. Like, you always kind of assume it's gonna be bad when we tell you about it, and then like once you like watch some.
I didn't think it was gonna be bad. He just wouldn't shut up about New Vegas.
Yeah, and like when the game came out, I went to school and I'm like, holy crap, guys, you have to play this.
We've been friends for a really long time. I've known Tyler since like 3rd grade, and I've known Jake since 6th grade, and they've known each other since what, 5th grade, you guys said?
Yeah.
5th grade, and
when he was addicted to the total drama series.
Oh, yeah.
Were you both addicted to Total Drama?
It was a good show.
Yeah,
it was decent.
Honestly,
it's still running, I think.
Yeah, it is actually. They have all stars.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time.
People.
Yeah.
All of us, and you know, BanziProductionz means like a lot to us. You know, that company, and
we did have JCT Filmmake, but that died.
Yeah, and so and like, you know, once we're graduating this year, so once like we you know get out, we're going to college, of course, but once we get out of college and all that, we're gonna, you know, build up our company. We're not gonna give up on this dream, because honestly, we do know that YouTube is probably gonna die soon.
Well,
really?
No, YouTube itself is never.
Well, come on.
Die.
I mean, usually websites do die out, and especially with
because,
like Google.
Like Google's like taking over everything.
Yeah. Honestly, it pisses me off because like I miss the old days, like where you can like inbox people.
You can still do it.
You can still inbox people?
Yeah. If you're like Google
I can
Plus
still
or
go
something.
onto my emails and
Google's gonna enslave half of the internet one day.
I know, they are. Like, I mean, Google is helpful. I mean, I don't think I would survive school if it wasn't for Google. I don't think anybody in America probably wouldn't, you know, survive school. But still, they are with YouTube. I understand why they bought it. Because if I was like a millionaire or something like that, I would definitely buy something like YouTube myself. That would have been a good investment. But like, you know, they are they just changed too much. You know, they should have kept it the same. I would understand like small changes. Even the partnership has changed.
It's actually easier to be a partner now.
Yeah, back then
you had to like sign a form or something.
Yeah, back then you had to fill out an application. You had to pick a video with like I think 1,000 views on it or something like that.
Yeah, something like.
And I think you had to have like 700 subscribers.
Yeah, now it's like
it's so easy.
It's like 10. No, wait, yeah.
And like back then, like now they have where you can put like your favorite channels on this like box thing. Back then, that was only for partners, and banners were only for partners too. You know what I mean? So it was really hard back then. Now Google's kind of made it kind of pussy. You know, ish.
It's actually easier because I didn't want to fill out a form anyway.
Yeah, but back then we didn't really take YouTube that seriously.
Yeah.
You know, like
we just filmed random shit.
Yeah, but that's now.
I remember when I had a flip camera, but that broke, and I'm like, okay, fuck this, I need a new camera, but...
we never got one.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna wait until we graduate and get professional cameras, you know.
And I'm actually trying to look for a job. I'm lazy, but I'm just trying to find a job where we live. It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
there's nothing to offer for where we live.
Besides like fast food restaurants and stuff.
That ain't much.
And like, and like half of the time they don't even hire you unless you know somebody. Like that's the one thing I hate about small towns, man. Like if you have a bad reputation or something else, you are pretty much fucked until you move.
My dad was like really pissed about this place. He's like, I'm a city person. I don't belong here.
Yeah. Honestly, that's
he has a point. He kind of is more of a city person.
Honestly, I mean, we are staying in Pennsylvania for about 2 more years after we graduate, but
because we're going to Texas, but we can't just go like immediately.
Yeah, we gotta save up money, and we're gonna study film school. They're gonna study animation too, and we're gonna just try to make movies. But we're gonna start out small, just post stuff on YouTube and maybe get to the big leagues and go to theaters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that would definitely come later in life. Companies don't just get big out of the blue. Some of them take like 20 something years through, and especially our business. Our business is kind of impossible. Because like film is like one of the hardest things to get into, you know what I mean?
It's easier on YouTube, but if you're doing like an actual film with like
professional,
then that would be twice as hard.
Yeah, because you gotta like send it to like film festivals and like stuff like that, and they gotta review it, and it's just a long process. I don't know, guys.
Okay, back to gaming.
Yeah, sorry, I just give you that update.
So
I guess we're trying to make it longer.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that's how podcasts are supposed to be, really.
So, what was the first game you guys ever played?
Like, ever in life?
Yeah, ever.
It was on PS2, I know that, and it was some...
At the time, when I got a Wii, I think it's crappy now, but there's one game which is the first. It wasn't my first game. My first game was Wii Sports, but the game that I'll always keep, I'll never get rid of, Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Well, yeah.
I know you think it's like a children's game, but
it's
I mean it kind of is, but it's T for teen because there's this character named Solid Snake who's like, he's from this like really famous game, which is also awesome, the Metal Gear Solid series. I'd also recommend that, but. The game Super Smash Bros. Brawl, it's good. It's really great, and there's a new one coming out for like they just call it Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
It's for the Wii U, which is crap, and the 3DS, which I want to get, but I'm fucking broke as a motherfucker, and
y'all are.
And yeah, so the first game I got, because it came with the Wii, was Wii Sports.
Yeah.
Alright.
But mine was, I forget the name of it, but you could build your own, like, adventure park. Don't you remember that?
It was on PS2?
Yeah. But you
Thrillville.
Yeah, I used to be so obsessed with that game. Like, I thought it was like the best game ever. Then I got Guitar Hero, and then I got addicted to that, and eventually I became like a master at it.
Obey your master.
Yeah.
But
as
like
Metallica would say.
But like I don't know if I could if I got the chance to play it again. I don't know how I would do because it's been like a few years since I played it.
Yeah.
If I played the song Through the Fire and Flames, I'd rage quit so hard. Because that's the hardest song in Guitar Hero 3 to do. Like if you're playing it on expert mode, it's ridiculously hard.
It's gonna be funny though, like when we're older, like our kids are gonna think that's like ancient, like the PS2, and we're gonna think, you're not a real kid if you didn't play PS2 or something.
Yeah, with the way technology's going. By the time we have kids, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what's Xbox 360?"
Yeah.
But as of right now, kids are fucking spoiled.
Yeah, exactly. Man.
But yet they play these violent video games because the parents are so fucking retarded.
Well,
really, like, they should know that the kid's like gonna fucking like be a brat on the internet.
Well, I mean,
he's gonna be like fucking squeaking and raging like a brat. He'd be like,
let's be honest, Jake. If you were a kid, you would want to play violent video games.
Yeah.
I did, but
yeah. See, don't judge.
I gotta admit, my parents were smart not to make me wait.
To
like.
Honestly, though, he does have a point. That's honestly how most incidents happen, like, when it comes to, you know, violent crimes and, you know, in reality, you know what I mean, like, shootings and stuff like that. That's always some of the cause of it, because, like, sometimes they train...
I could never do that. I mean...
Yeah,
it's
because, like...
still recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, sometimes you can train your mind, you know, to kill with video games, actually. And
you know, me and Colin used to play Grand Theft Auto 4. Like, we wouldn't do the story. We would just go to a hospital and massacre people.
Yeah, pretty much. but we know, like, reality from, you know, fairy tale, or whatever, how you describe it. But we know, like, the truth, you know, how it would affect people and crap like that, you know. But most kids these days, they don't. Some of them are just messed up in the head that they don't understand. You know what I mean? And there's so much easy access to guns. You know, I mean, I gotta admit, we do own guns in my house, and it's easy for me to get. But you know, I know that my life is too meaningful. You know, for something like that to happen. You know what I mean? So that's we're almost at our 30-minute limit. Almost.
No, that's alright. That's our minimum.
Well, yeah.
Our maximum is an hour.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, like, what other games should we talk about?
I didn't say my my
one of my other
favorites. Tyler gotta say his first game.
Well, my first game was one of the Mario games on the Nintendo 64. It was like Mario 64.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah, it's still good.
Was it
though.
like Super Mario 64 or something?
Yeah, I think that's the exact game too.
Honestly,
it was awesome.
Like
I played that, but it was like the DS version.
Oh yeah.
Alright, we're back.
Wait, is it recording?
Yeah.
Alright, it's good. Alright, we're back. Now we're gonna talk about a great game series called Dead Rising. It's basically, the first one basically starts off with the protagonist, Frank West.
The badass Frank West.
He basically comes to Willamette, Colorado, who basically, like, I think he's looking for a story to cover or something, because, like, he's a freelance photographer who's actually covered wars.
That's all he says in the game. I cover wars, you know.
Now, just so you know, if I don't have much to say in this, it's because I don't really play it. I've only played it once.
The part 2.
Yeah, I've only played it once, so I'm not really familiar, so I really have no say when it comes to opinions, so I'm just going to randomly agree with both of them. Also, if you guys can also leave comments on the bottom of, like, what you think of, you know...
Who's better, Frank West or Chuck Green from Dead Rising 2?
Yeah.
I personally like Chuck Green better. Because he makes this badass combo weapons. I mean, Frank West did that in Dead Rising 2 off the record, but that game was really, like, non-canon. Like, not... Because, like... It's just like a game... Like another version of Dead Rising 2. Like, showing us, like, if Frank West was the hero of Dead Rising 2.
It was more of a DLC, I think.
No, not really, because it was on disc. When it's on a disc, it's not really a DLC. At least that's what I think. But yet, it was still non-canon. None of it really happened. But, anyway, on that note, Chuck Green is better than Frank West. Not that I hate Frank West, but I just think Chuck Green is better.
Frank West is the best ever.
Chuck Green.
Just move on.
Chuck Green. Anyway, we'll debate this on our own time. Leave a comment below saying, like, who you like better, Chuck Green or Frank West. You better go for Chuck Green.
Actually, I know what I could talk about. Yeah.
Alright, go
anyways, ahead. This has nothing to do with video games, so I'm sorry for interrupting it, but I was in psychology class today, and we were talking about, like, near-death experience, and you know those shows like where the person claims that he's talking to the dead. I don't know. Sometimes I think that's bull, but like, you know, what do you guys think? Like, do you think that could be possible? Like him doing ghost whispering?
I don't know. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't believe in ghost stories. It's all fictional.
Some, yes, like Tyler said, some honestly could be true.
And they scare the hell out of me.
Pussy.
Vagina.
Sandy vagina.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Schlong, greasy pubes, ball sucker, sandy vagina,
If you knew
dildo, penises.
If you knew us all in real life, you would understand our humor.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh yeah, Saints Row.
Yeah.
Time to talk about that. A game that was so great but turned shitty. It's the first two Saints Row games. I didn't play the first one. Of course, I had to fucking look up gameplay because I don't have an Xbox. I have a PS3 because I'm smart.
Xbox rules. God.
Bitch slap your Xbox loving ass. Why didn't you make out with your Xbox, bitch?
It's not about the Xbox.
Bill Gates lover.
PC now.
Bill Gates lover.
Hey, he changed the world, Bill Gates. If it wasn't for him, he'd be right
I
out.
don't hate him. I'm just trying to explain to him that Xbox is crap.
But I think it's kind of funny now. I had an Xbox that was made by Microsoft, and now I have a laptop.
Anyway, back to Saints Row. The first two games. The first one was actually really good. Like, almost because the whole character creations. Like, it starts off with your character, like, he barely speaks. I mean, he speaks in, like, some parts of the game, but he's, like, mostly just a silent person at first. And he's basically walking down the street. I said street. I meant street. Fuck me. And, there's a fucking gang, there's this enemy gang called the Vice Kings. He's like vandalizing the marking from this other gang called the West Side Rollers. I think that's what they're called. I forget. And then West Side Rollers come up. They start. Then them and the Vice Kings start fighting. Then this other gang. I think it's called the Los Carnales or something. And what was I going to say? They start doing drive-bys on both the gangs. Then your character is basically injured, or I don't know if he's actually injured. He's just laying on the ground. He's about to get shot, but then this guy named Julius, voiced by Keith David, he's actually an awesome guy. He could be the next Morgan Freeman, but that will never happen.
Yes, Morgan Freeman.
Nobody could ever be the next Morgan Freeman. Greatest narrator in the world, hands down. And Julius Little and his second in command, Troy. I forget his last name. Just Troy. I'm just gonna say Troy. And they basically save him. They kill the gang member who was about to kill your character. Julius basically saves you and asks you to join his gang, the 3rd Street Saints. Then he basically comes up to the church, which is where their hideout is. I guess it's because they're called the Saints. And they're doing a rally, like a meeting. Then your character comes up. Then the greatest character in the world, I mean, not in the world, but at least in the Saints Row series, Johnny Gat, who's basically, he turns around, he's like, who the fuck's this guy? But then he claims he has to be canonized before he can join, which means you gotta fight the other Saints to prove like how tough you are. Like you like no matter what, whether you actually beat the hell out of everybody or you're like getting beat, you still join the Saints. But This is so freaking long.
Yeah.
In the end, they kill like all the gang leaders except for Benjamin King, which leads the Vice Kings, because Benjamin King used to be good friends with Julius, but he basically walks away. But fuck me. But first, like he starts. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Shit, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a bit tired today. I didn't get to sleep at all last night.
That's dumb.
Fuck.
And another thing, if like we stop recording in the middle, is probably because my dad comes and
which you didn't before, but we had to be sure.
Yeah, that's part of why we paused. But if that ever happens, we'll just make a part 2 podcast, and so just stay tuned for that. And another thing, we don't have specific dates when we do podcasts. Like most people always do it like every weekend or something. Ours will come randomly.
Yeah.
Because I wish we could do it every weekend, but we probably can't
because we have a hard time going over to either my house or Colin's house.
Yeah. So it's just like stay tuned and be patient when it comes to that stuff. That's all we ask for.
We'll try to do it as much as we can. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah,
Saints Row.
Benjamin King, or Benjamin motherfucking King, whatever you want to call him. Before he walks away, he basically helps the Saints deal with get rid of the Vice Kings, because now his bitch Tanya, who's like a major fucking whore, who's running the Vice Kings, and see what else. They basically shoot her briefly. She's falling out of like a window, like one of those really big windows, because they're like in a penthouse, and she's like begging like a little bitch, and Benjamin King he basically steps on her fingers and she falls dead. But then Benjamin King walks away, and that's that. A little side note here: he used to be voiced by Michael Clark Duncan, but now the guy's dead. He was such a good actor. He was great in Daredevil as the Kingpin. I know Daredevil wasn't a really good movie, but I liked it. I think it was a decent movie. A lot of people didn't like it, I guess, because of Ben Affleck. I don't know why people are hating on Affleck, but I personally think that he wouldn't really make a good Batman. Christian Bale would probably be better at that, but he quit, so at least that's what I think. I don't know what happened to him. Anyway, back to Saints Row. Yeah, I was. Are we going?
Yeah.
Alright, we're back. We had to delay it for a while because we ate a shitload of pizza. Because we're fucking hungry for meat. Nah, I'm kidding. Pizza isn't meat, it's cheese. It's dough and cheese and pepperoni. And anchovies and mushrooms and garlic.
Ew.
And extra cheese.
Good enough.
And Mike's sweat.
Ew.
The guy who owns that pizza place.
Yeah, he puts his sweat and grease into the pizza, literally.
Colin would know, right?
Yep.
He's too busy texting on his phone like a douche. And he's taking selfies.
First, let me take a selfie.
Let me take a selfie. I did that too well, didn't I? Anyway, what was I talking about? I forget.
Saints Row.
Anyway, after all the events of the whole gang wars, in the end, the mayor of, I was gonna say Steelport, but it's really Stillwater.
Steelport.
Mayor Hughes. He basically tries to kill your character on a boat, but yet the boat blows up, killing everybody except the character. Because the character's in a coma in prison. He wakes up. This new character, Carlos, comes in. I'm trying not to spoil too much, but I just say so much about it because, like, a shitload of people have played the first 2 Saints Row games. I mean, they're old. I mean, not super old, but they're old enough for people to know that a lot of people played it. You know what I mean, Tyler?
No, I don't. Yes, I do. Never mind.
Smack.
Okay.
And then you're facing new gang members called the Brotherhood, Sons of Samdi, and the Ronin. And in the end, you face this this corrupt company called Otor, who's for some reason has mercenaries, even though it's like a clothing company. And the president or something of Otor, Dane Vogel, your character kills him, he falls out a window and is dead. And then Saints Row 3 came. That's kind of when the Saints Row series went downhill. It was decent, but it was still kind of goofy. I mean, it still had gangs, but then Saints Row 4 came along. I mean, what the fuck? Just, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
They got rid of gang wars. Your character's a president.
Logic.
It's not fun unless you make it fun.
Yeah. He
kind of made it fun until a bunch of asshole aliens just literally blew up the planet. But in the end of the game, they reveal it to some alien servant told the president, as in your created character, that there was a time machine somehow.
Oh God, you just spoiled
People have played it. What does it matter? If you can't handle spoilers, don't watch it. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, we should probably wrap up.
Unless anybody else wants to talk about something.
Yeah, imaginary viewers. Come on up.
Jeez, I'm such a downer.
Just kidding. Okay. Colin, want to say anything?
Bye.
Okay.
Goodbye. That's all I can think of. See you in the next podcast.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.